Brian White is here, and Brian White has agreed to be a guinea pig today. I'm going to throw a whole bunch of stuff at Brian, and we're going to find out, whether he's, been practicing in the backyard with baseball and whether he can catch anything that I throw at him. So,
Fun bit of reality. This week there was a game, the Blue Jays against someone, I forget who, but they were down 4-14, and they were not putting in any more pitchers, so they sent the catcher out to pitch. And he struck someone out on a pitch of what speed, Randy?
65?
35.
30.
He just loved it. Oh my God. And the guy was like, I'm swinging.
Yeah.
He missed.
That's great. There's been quite a few interesting plays this year. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. In my opinion, X and Tesla are inextricably linked in so many ways that I really think that we shouldn't just buy $5 billion worth. I really think they need to merge, just a stock swap, make a decision about what each company's worth, and just put the two companies together. Now, I understand that Elon doesn't want to have the government oversight or maybe even the shareholder pressure for quarterly performance, but I just think that they're going to be each other's biggest customers, and on many levels, so many different levels, that it just makes sense that they be one company rather than two. And I'm going to go through 11 different ways that I see them as customers of one another. And maybe you'll agree now, maybe you already agree, or maybe, we'll see what you think about the rest of the theory.
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay.
So I don't agree now, but I'll tell you it's because Elon doesn't want to lose control. He could be ousted. If the two companies merged today, he would not have enough shares. He'd be closer to his 25%. But even at 25%, you can be ousted. It's much, much harder, but it can happen. And the other is that the price to earnings would look really, really bad today. And then the last one being that it's an endless cash sink. You can sink infinite cash into an AI company in ways that Tesla is past today.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna give you all three of those and say that
Thank you.
Is that right? Okay. So number one, X is and will be buying massive amounts of mega packs from Tesla. And my guess is that energy production will also be coming from Tesla, maybe in the form of solar panels, maybe in the form of putting together solar farms, using other people's solar panels, maybe other ways. But I think that Elon is talking about the fact that there needs to be a lot more power, and he's using all kinds of methods to get the power to X. And I think that Tesla will be not just mega packs. I think there'll be even more than that. So it'll be a huge amount of business between the two companies.
I think that any amount of energy you create is already fungible. So whether X wanted to buy it or the market wanted to buy it, I think it would have the only additional value is that you could get first allocation on the power that you produce. So I'm not sure that alone would not be a sufficient benefit. X.ai will be buying a lot of mega packs, but I don't know that that's necessarily beneficial to Tesla shareholders to now just transfer them division to division rather than collect the profit.
Okay. Number two, X needs the real world data from what we're doing at Tesla. They need that data from the Optimists and from the robotaxis, everything, all the things that we're doing in the real world, and the kind of different data that we're making, because in order to get to AGI, you need it all.
Well, yes, but that's only a benefit for X.ai. That's not a benefit for Tesla.
Well, they're going to have to sell it to them. I mean, it's going to be so that obviously.
So Tesla would get, I mean, I don't see Tesla selling it to X.ai. I see them licensing it. If there's a fee, I think it would be nominal because they understand that this benefit will come back. But if the argument is that this is a reason they should merge, I see that as a one-sided equation where X.ai would get all the benefit and Tesla would not.
Well, again, depending on how much benefit they would get from the costs involved. Yeah, okay. So number 3, X will be providing car loans. So this becomes another
Oh,
another place where they're providing. Now X is providing a service which Tesla would normally pay for, and if they're merged, then it becomes an internal product.
what you would be effectively doing is removing the margin on the taking the profit that would go to another company and keeping it in-house. That is vertical integration. That's a possibility. I don't see that being by itself enough to justify uh, a necessarily buying out the company. Buying in maybe, but not buying out. And then we're still X as a payment, as a bank is still over the horizon. And it appears that there's, and this will surprise you, Randy, a number of regulatory hurdles to making that happen, which seems weird to me when there's some really sketchy banks out there that do not appear to have the same problems. But uh, I think that's an interesting aspect, and I will bear that in mind.
Okay, all right. So that would, of course, give them the combination of the car insurance and the car loans, both being in-house, both being vertical, as you mentioned, and vice versa. It would mean that X could add the car insurance to their packages and give them another benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla needs Grok for the cars and for the bots. So, I mean, they already got it. They're already receiving it. And I'm sure there's some kind of licensing deal between the two or some kind of payment plan or system. But again, if it's vertical, if it's, we just, I think almost everything I'm talking about here is a matter of going to vertical integration rather than partnership or rather than supplier, supplyee. That's not it. Supplier customer.
I understood.
You knew what
I was going to let it slide. I thought you were saying it to be clever.
I was.
Well, there you go.
I would try, once in a while.
So the thing with Grok in the car, I suspect the current deal between the two companies is Tesla has added it at no cost to anyone because it's just another infotainment feature. It is like having YouTube. I don't think YouTube pays to be in the car. I think YouTube integration is just not that hard, and so they provide it. We just provide it. On the So who's getting paid? Well, X.ai is getting paid because you have to have Grok. And most Grok is premium. So you can do a little bit of Grok without it. I don't know if anyone in the car is not in some way a premium member on X. So I think that they're just like how you can watch free Netflix or free YouTube. But a lot of people have premium. Do you really want to watch ads in the car all day? And all the other streaming services are premium. You have to pay. So they're there because they've got the revenue, and Tesla has them because it's a benefit. I'll tell you, Rock in the car, not useful for me. I've done quite a few tests now, and its propensity for hallucination is unfathomable. It tries to direct me to, it says, oh yeah, go to, I think it was called Bean Traders or something like that. It's this new coffee shop in the Triangle Mall. And I'm like, well, I don't think there is. So I go over there and I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't see it. Where is it? And it gives me the address. I go, what state is that? I'm sorry, that's in North Carolina. It hallucinated an entire timber festival that's actually in Minnesota. It told me there's a Sbarro's in the mall. I'm like, is that also in North Carolina? Yeah, that's in North Carolina. It turns out there's a Triangle Mall in North Carolina too.
Oh, I
And
see.
most of what I've been telling you is there, but there is a Rite Aid and a Bed Bath and Beyond. I'm like, those are both closed. Bed Bath and Beyond's been closed for years. Rite Aid closed last month. This is not helpful. It may get helpful, but a guy said, well, what you need to do is to ask it math problems or like what's big at the box office. I'm like, I don't need those
You wanted to
things.
know about your neighborhood. Yeah. And
Yeah,
yeah,
this is a portable application. It's not good on the go.
at least so far. Maybe you had a bad start. So the next one, and again, they absolutely need Grok or something like Grok for the bots.
Absolutely.
And
Just
so,
to have an interface where you can just speak your mind.
right.
I don't want to be required to be a search engineer. You remember in the early days of Google, you had to use the right terms. If you didn't use the right terms, you're not going to find what you're looking for. But with this, you can say, hey, who's the guy from the thing where they did this in the movie? And Grok will, Grok is very likely to get you there, or can ask you clarifying questions that a search engine could not.
Right.
So I would agree for the bot, essential.
Okay, number 6, Tesla would obviously be using state-of-the-art models for this means Tesla would get access to state-of-the-art models for every aspect of material science, engineering, running the business, and marketing. Now, I'm sure they have that access now, but again, I don't know whether they're paying for it, and would X owners be happy to know that Tesla is getting special access. Now, theoretically, as an enterprise, they should be paying an enterprise license to get the enterprise level of information from X.ai, but maybe they're even getting something on top of that. And should that be, again, it's so much easier if it's just one company.
So I'm going to go out and say tough to say on that. I've seen people, when I was talking about the restriction on next gen LFP manufacturing equipment, it can't be exported from China anymore. That's a result of the trade war. They're like, well, if you're not going to buy our batteries, you don't get to buy our battery equipment either. And then, and then I had a lot of people telling me on X and in the comments on my videos that, well, it won't matter because X.ai, because Grok will invent new batteries. And I'm like, whoa, that's my brother. That is so far in the future. It might be able to design new chemistries. It might be able to think up parts of processes. But even if it worked perfectly today, we're talking 10 years before any of that hits the market. And we're going to run out of batteries today. We're falling behind today. So the idea that AI can change everything. Today, it does not. It is not there yet. I feel like that's something you should write a book about. Maybe I would help you with that.
That'd be an idea.
But
hey, let's do that.
Maybe that ties into the chapter that I'm working on presently while we're doing this video. So if I'm looking away, that's why.
That's what you're doing. You're typing
right now. I'm not doing it right now. But I think those aspects are still science fiction.
Well, so I'm not talking about necessarily the invention of a new product. I'm talking about
but you're talking about the streamlining
level,
of management.
whatever the levels are that are available. We already know Elon has mentioned there are tools that are going to be coming on in a couple of months. Well, my guess is that Tesla already has availability to those X.ai tools that the rest of the world doesn't have. They're getting to front run everybody else in that regard. Now, that's good for both companies, maybe.
I think those are worth hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars. I don't think it's worth tens of billions of dollars.
Right. I'm looking at it as one more thing.
Sure.
The other side of the coin is that Tesla is providing a great proving ground and also a good case study. So if I'm going to go out and sell enterprise to Google, I can say, hey, Tesla's already running this and here's their results.
Well, I don't think Google would buy it no matter how good it is because they're stubborn.
All right.
but
Salesforce.
DHL, Salesforce.
Right.
Sure. Look, this is what I can tell you about what I've done at Tesla. But again, that's a bigger benefit for X.ai than it is for Tesla.
I'm saying it works both ways, but it ends up being, again, kind of the ideas here. What I'm trying to develop is you've got now 7, and there's going to be more different ways that the two companies are so closely integrated that to me, it just seems like when you've got that much integration, maybe they should just be one company. Number 8, X will likely be buying Dojo chips and may eventually want inference chips also from Tesla for various things that they might be involved in. This could also be multiple millions or billions of dollars worth of products.
Good news, they're for sale. I don't see how that benefits Tesla.
Again, both companies, X gets the benefit of the vertical integration, and Tesla gets the benefit of the more captured opportunity for production, increasing overall production, lowering costs, having an immediate access to the things that X is needing in order to make the dojo chips better, et cetera, et cetera.
So I went to a semi-annual meeting at the bank at Washington Mutual back in the day when I was a loan officer. And twice a year, they would have these big events where all of us would go to a particular city, Seattle or San Francisco generally. And we would have this convention center packed with nerds like me. And one of the presentations, they were explaining the financials of the recent bank mergers. They said before the merger, the bank that we bought was at, 27 cents per share. And the new one, we were at 21 cents per share. And now the earnings is 32 cents a share. Our cost per origination, and it wasn't 32 cents, our cost per origination after the merger was much lower because by combining the companies, a lot of redundancy was eliminated, a lot of efficiency was created, a lot of things that did not enjoy economies of scale suddenly did, and it meant that 2 + 2 = 5, which is hard math to wrap your head around until you realize that both of those twos are variables.
Right. Yeah.
So it can be beneficial to both companies.
Mhm.
And if it is, I don't see it. So, but it's not my job to see it.
All right. Number 9, X would want to be part of the inference network that Elon has talked about having throughout the car fleet. They would want the ability to be, because they're saying that right now they're using cloud for inference, because they're using all of the chips that they have in Colossus. They're using all of those for training, pre-training, post-training. So they're using the cloud for inference. So this would be one more cloud that they could get access to. Maybe they aren't yet. But anyway, just another piece of vertical integration.
Again, I see the benefit to X.ai for that, not so much the benefit for Tesla. Tesla could sell that inference rather than just giving it away.
Well, of course, again, when you're talking about any vertical integration, the benefit is to both companies. They get a customer. I mean, the fact that you don't get to put it as a sale on the sales sheet and with a cost and a profit, it's kind of like when they're going to start integrating Optimus into the line. Optimus will drop the cost of goods sold on the cars, even though there's not a sale of the Optimus internally to Tesla or a profit margin that you can see from those Optimi operating.
I think the software is a better example because when it comes to a physical item, it has physical item costs. But me selling you compute is a taxable event. Whereas you and I merging and me giving us compute, we already have compute. It's not a transaction anymore. So that would be, again, it'd still be more benefit for X.ai than for Tesla, but I hear you.
Number 10, water management and cooling are important to both companies in serious ways, not just on their data centers, but also for Tesla, vehicles, et cetera.
Yeah. We saw Tesla saying years ago, we may get into the HVAC business. And a lot of people said, awesome, I can't wait to retrofit it into my home. And I was like, I don't think that's what he meant. Retrofitting, very difficult, very cumbersome. But if you could manufacture a one-size-fits-all solution, that's going to be a lot better. And if it's going to be bespoke, it needs to be large, or the savings just isn't there. You look at something like the cooling towers at Giga Texas, those are effectively a octavalve at a building scale. And why would you even need that? I go, because that building, I know a lot of people in their head think Texas equals West Texas, which is hot and dry. But Texas has many different climates. And if you look at any of the drone footage of Austin, you'll see it's a normal kind of climate with trees and rivers and things. In the winter, it gets cold. We've seen snow at Giga Texas. The normal way to heat a 10 million square foot building that does manufacturing is to leave it as cold as possible in the winter. That's not ideal. Now, the building can be comfortable. in the dead of winter by just piping that heat inside. How that works when you don't have somewhere to spend the heat is a different matter. If I wanted to add that kind of system to my data center, unless my data center is connected to something else that needs a bunch of heat, it doesn't have the same benefit. So unless X.AI is going to be co-locating with, I don't know, anything, housing, industrial, anything. I'm not sure what they do with the heat, but putting a building next to it or across the street from it, close enough to pipe that heat over, you could make, I mean, tens of thousands a month just selling them your waste heat. So that's a possibility.
Well,
But
we I'm looking at just the reality that Tesla apparently is miles ahead of any other company when it comes to water management, cleaning water, reusing water, cooling water for their own Cortex facility, as you point out, using waste heat. All these things are great. And then you've got Colossus, on the other hand, requiring massive amounts of water cooling and probably some air cooling as well. But in order to run Colossus, so again, similar kinds of technologies required for both companies. So the engineers theoretically being in the same company, you would reduce the overall cost of that engineering staff if you didn't have to have two engineering staffs or buy the engineering expertise from the other one.
yeah, I understand. I'm not sure how much benefit it is, and I don't know that they're miles ahead. That's not an area of my expertise. I don't know what other companies are doing in that regard. I don't think they invented new things to get their wastewater, to get their total lifetime water as low as they have, for example, in Germany, where the manufacture of a new car requires less water than a pair of jeans, which is
Right.
shocking. But
Shocking.
they have literally accomplished that.
Yeah.
I don't know how revolutionary that is, or if it's just a question of buying into systems that exist but are just generally cost prohibitive. I don't know. We're getting low on the list, but let's keep going.
All right, number 11, and this might be one of the better ones, is just the fact that they both have super clusters creates a need for synergy in development, deployment, and management of the super clusters themselves. So once again, by having one team of engineers who are expert in building the buildings, putting together the water systems, putting together the electronics that they've come up with, which is
The
apparently
cabling, all
cable,
of it.
all this stuff. Having one set of engineers doing that rather than sharing information or selling it back and forth or whatever, just seems to be a smoother, better way to do things.
If you combine those teams, that's an example of 2 + 2 = 5. You could then reduce some and have the same capacity, or you could keep them and have more than the sum of the two capacities separate. I don't think that's a benefit worth tens of billions of dollars. So I don't know on that. And I'm partially of the mind that one of the teams is going to be better than the other, and the rivalry between the teams could fuel innovation, could power them to keep just being better, because they know that
Elon's watching both.
Elon's watching both, and the other group might come up with something that's incredible, and we need to always be better than them. You know how like Steve Jobs would have rival teams
Right.
working on the same project, because one is going to, and if you'd have combined them, would that have been better? I don't think so, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. I think Elon is not of the mind of pitting teams against one another. I believe that I read that somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure of that, but I'm pretty sure that that is not one of his management styles. I think
He likes cooperation for sure.
he likes mission driven. So it's all about the mission and hitting the numbers on time if possible.
The mission's important, but I'm just not convinced. I think I would need to talk to an expert on the Elon Musk mission to find
Oh,
out.
well,
Oh, you don't have it handy? Oh,
oh yeah, they're all over the shelf right there. I have more copies than anybody right there behind me.
you're a collector. You're a
I'm a
fan.
writer.
You're the biggest fan.
Yeah, wait till the new book comes out. I'll just add that one right up on the shelf. All right. Well, Brian, that was my whole list. So if I haven't convinced you yet, I guess I'm done. But the idea, again, the basic idea, and it doesn't matter whether you agree with me or not. What do you know? No, I'm sorry. I, I would have loved it if you said at the end, "Oh my gosh, that's right, Randy. How did I not see it?" But
I think Elon knows what he's doing. He's made this decision. He's published his conclusion. I'd been saying for ages, he doesn't want to risk losing control of yet another pioneering AI company. For those who don't remember, he was one of the founders of OpenAI. He left the company because he said, if I stay, I'm afraid this will become commercialized.
yes.
And then they commercialized it because look at all that money. And yeah, he's like, well, if we're commercializing, then I'll do it even better. I will start later, grow quicker, and maybe not crush you. OpenAI is still the gold standard, but it has real competition from smarter people who are more passionate about it. So I think that, but I do think that it is Elon's intention to keep them separate. I think they can remain, companies in law, in-laws, so to speak, where it's like, well, we're kind of married to the same people, but we're not actually blood just yet. So that's, I don't know. I think I have confidence Elon knows what he's doing.
Oh, I always have confidence in that, but
Oh,
I
do you?
always like to throw out new ideas and then try to support them with relevant factoids.
If you like throwing out, have you tried babies with bathwater? Because
Now,
that one's really popular too.
speaking of babies, I'm a number 11 today. She was born.
Uh,
Grace Kirk. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grandpa yet again. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's been calling you grandpa for a while, so it makes sense.
I think that's the end of grandpa land. Now we'll find out whether any of those grandchildren have great grandchildren while I'm still able to talk,
Yeah. Out of 11, your odds are decent.
pretty good, not bad. All right. Well, that's all I got for you right now, Brian. And I'm going to just wrap things up and say thank you as always for joining me. And to all of you out there, if you haven't bought the book yet, oh no, it's not out yet, but you'll get your chance soon. It's been great talking to you.